Trump as a president is fraud. So what we're talking about here is intentional use of deceit to deprive another, in this case the American people, of their legal rights from their civil persons involved in the scheme to commit fraud, including not revealing a fact which he or she has a duty to communicate. Constructive fraud can be provided by showing a breach of legal duty. Extrinsic fraud occurs when deceit is employed to keep someone from exercising a right. Increasingly, fraud, which has victimized a large segment of the public, actually every last citizen in the country. The basis for our argument is that we have a legal right granted in the Constitution of the United States to have a president who lives up to his oath of office, in addition to the Constitution itself and the laws of the land. To operate in the office of the president, while failing to act as a president must act, denies the citizens the right to have a president who upholds the requirements of office. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. The Constitution is the first and ultimate law of the land that underlies all other law. He shall take the following oath. I do solemnly swear, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We should expect more of our presidents than allow their lacking ability to defy what is set forth in the Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. The charge being made here, and the basis of our legal argument, is failure to live up to what constitutes a legal right of American citizens. We, the citizens, have a legal right to have a president who, having sworn the oath to uphold the Constitution, in fact does so. The pretense that the president is upholding the Constitution while violating the clauses I've labeled A through F that follow we the people of the United States is an overt commission of an act of fraud against the American people. The divide and conquer nature of party politics has never served the people of this country. Political parties serve to oversimplify. They never help us achieve unity. A union of different people is a place people of all varieties can share, defend, and eventually convince others of ideas, so that the best ideas might become widely shared. This is the attempt at a perfect union, where the ideas will always differ, but they might converge on ideals that work for everyone. First and foremost are the evidences amassed by expressions designed to polarize and divide the people of this country, simplifying complex issues beyond the point of clarity, completeness, or fairness. The president's job to facilitate a more perfect union is to represent the truths of the various sides of issues, essentially being the master mediator in the grand political arena. I'm merely attempting to point out that the narrow views expressed by the president are precisely the types of views that the president's job explicitly to avoid making, as an attempt to satisfy the more perfect union clause that he has promised to uphold, and may in other cases be politically convenient. It is the latter case that fraud is being committed, to which the American people have a legal right to better service, and the nature of their speculation on the market is independent and the right of the investors. Speculations of the president, however, are not grounded in factual realities. The statement is a means to cement a political victory and a market occurrence with a lie. That is to say that he caused the market to go up. The tweet is a lie with no factual basis, an intentional use of deceit, an attempt to divide, a violation of the president's job, duty to form a more perfect union. The legal rights of the Constitution are thereby being deprived from the people it is designed to serve. Even delineating the sides was a political and divisive move that serves to further polarize the two groups. The point being, there were certainly bad people only on one side. Off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired. If American people owe their loyalty to anything, it is the Constitution and the laws therein, not the flag itself. Kneeling in protest is a First Amendment means to express injustice. To speak out against injustices is intrinsically American and critical to the formation of a more perfect union. Dividing the people of this country, polarizing the political discourse further, and violating the oath that he took to form a more perfect union. It is deceptive to represent these actions as either American or valid uses of the office of the president. It is the legal right of American citizens to have a president who lives up to his oath of office. And this statement made by the president deceives the people that it is more American to salute the flag than it is to uphold the Constitution of the United States and form a more perfect union of the people, being misled about the nature of the Constitution. There were valid reasons to kneel in protest, just as there are valid reasons to salute the flag. To misconstrue the issue and take one side on the issue without consideration of the other is to divide the country. Through this deception, illegal failure of the president to uphold his charge to form a more perfect union, thus defrauding the American people of their legal rights, or fully embracing the changes as incredible patriots. America is a union of people from various ethnic backgrounds and places in the world. The greatness promised by Trump is a focus on unquestioning loyalty, a lack of diversity, and an obsession with the markets, none of which are American ideals, and it may be argued are more applicable to the fascists of Nazi Germany. Everyone has it in their power to be a force to bring people together. That's up to the President of the United States. I do not think it is merely up to the President. It is, in fact, the duty of the President, in his oath in the oath of office, and more perfect Union clause. To fail to uphold this clause defrauds the people of the United States of the right to have a President that performs the duties of that office. So it is the charge of the Constitution to establish justice. There have been many failings of the President to uphold or establish justice. By capitalizing on political division for political gain, the President is violating his duties as the President of the United States. Truth and justice are the American way. If there's lies or injustice, then that's violating the American way. Without truth coming to light, there's no possibility for justice. To mislead and misrepresent the truth widely conflicts with the idea of a more perfect union. So there are two sides to take in this issue. One side looks at the facts about the world, and the other side looks at the facts about the bank statements. I think it's pretty clear, but one of these two alternate realities is more grounded in factual basis of the basic and single shared global system, while the other is more grounded in the facts about a system created by people. Injustice is to misrepresent these facts and pretend one side of the alternative does not exist. The point being made is that there is a right way forward to establish justice, and there are unjust ways of establishing justice that simply spread the injustice around. And doing so undermines the constitutional duties of the President of the United States. And in fact, lying to anyone about anything serves to undermine those individuals attaining true justice. When true facts are misrepresented and falsehoods are spread, then the ability of people to know what would be just and what would be unjust is misconstrued. Lying to the American public leads the greatest injustice of all. Domestic tranquility is the basis of forum where freedom of expression and ideas may occur, fueling the divides in our country rather than mending and uniting people to a common cause. Undermines the domestic tranquility at every step. Trump cares more about the stock markets than he does about the union of people. Immigrant hate, minority hate, hatred towards women. If Trump makes the claim that he's making America great while violating his oath of office and constitutional promises to the American people, he is defrauding the American people of their legal rights established in the Constitution of the United States. Playing the game of party politics for a re-election campaign is not the duty of the President of the United States. It does not promote domestic tranquility. It is not legal to run the presidency that way. The common defense may appear to mean military. It's also the charge of the President to defend the Constitution. This clause may provide the strongest possible case for impeachment, as the failure to defend the Union that is the basis for the Constitution of the United States. Violating this promise is an attempt to defraud the American people. There is no more universally defensible element of the Union than the Constitution on which it is based. Trump is making an assault on the Constitution itself. The opposite of the oath, which states he will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the general welfare. The government exists for the express purpose of protecting the welfare of individuals from the few and the greedy, or output of products which may in turn cause illness. That does not mean the welfare of private interests, but of the American people. Insofar as policy can be bought, or public policy can be lobbied for by spending money, then this clause of the Constitution has been violated. The ideal of free speech represents all sides. Purchase speech represents a distinct side. All sides should be adequately represented. Similarly, our ideals about what is just and fair cannot stop at the border. The actions taken by the Trump administration to deregulate the EPA and standards of protection for endangered species to overtly violate this clause. It is the duty of the President to protect the land, earth, and waters on which we depend now and into the future. No matter how profitable those industries are, they will never pay for the damages they have done. The focus on the stock markets as a measure of anything except capacity for gambling. It is not the job of the President to care about the markets, and in doing so, this means he is bartering the future of America for the short-term gains of investors. Secure the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Not about today, the liberty of future generations. The blessings of life on planet Earth extends beyond human interests to the blessings that allow for the freedom of all life forms on which we depend, and the entire biology of planet Earth and ecosystems, the freedom of the heavenly bodies, such as Earth, through the heavens, to continue a way of life, that man may fish without being poisoned by industries. Needless to say, this clause has been violated, most recently by Trump. The American public is defrauded of their constitutional right to have a future, including freedom on Earth, and their rights to basic health and well-being that allow for their freedom to even exist today are also violated. These policies serve to make people sick at the benefit of large industries, which may never pay the cost. It is the job of the President to defend the American people. Fraud is the intentional use of deceit to deprive someone of a legal right unjust advantage over another which injures that person or entity, breach of a legal duty, and deceit is employed to keep someone from exercising a right, the fraudulent persons can be charged, tried, and convicted in the markets. Chiefly are not the focus of the office of the president, are able to rise and fall at the whims of investors, are primarily tied not to realities, are not a measurement of the health of the union. The measure of the health of the economy is not the stock market. It can be said there's no underlying United States interest intrinsic to the stock market. Those parties playing the markets, and to some degree the underlying corporation whose stock is being purchased or sold. The interest of a distinct group of investors or corporate sponsors is not the duty of the government of the United States. Catering to the whims of market forces isn't the job of any political candidate or office holder. A large fraction of the population does not participate in the stock market, may only unite us in times of boom, and otherwise serve to divide the union, to cater to market whims rather than the needs of the union, and charges the Constitution, dismantles and oppresses the power of the union. They do not represent the interests of the United States Union as a whole. Corporations are neither allies nor enemies of the United States. In other cases, they act as enemies. One may define the market as an enemy of the United States when he may act to derail freedom of speech, sideline free expression, and prevent a more perfect union. Money itself may act as the enemy of the United States Constitution by placing an emphasis on the markets and money that the offenders in question are providing aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States. It adheres to their enemies. Giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Contrary to the constitutional rights of the citizens, may also be subject to committing such an offense, conspiring as two or more persons to delay the execution of any law of the United States, the law being the Constitution of the United States. They have also committed a seditious conspiracy. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. No person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. So, can the parties being tried be members? Can a person be their own peer on a jury? Two people are accused. Can one of those two people sit on the jury of the other person? Any accused senators would no longer be considered members for the sake of the proceedings of impeachment. The accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. An equal number of senators of each party may be one metric to ensure a fair trial by peers. Fair trial by an impartial jury. To say that the entire Senate body can sit as jurors on this trial means that the process will not be impartial. I believe that is entirely out of bounds as an avenue of enforcing justice. The accused have the right to a fair jury just as much as the prosecution has a right to a fair and impartial jury. If we do not have an impartial jury, the rights of the American people are being violated. Let's bring truth and justice to the land of opportunity.